All right, today we get to make some pin pallets for a Brocot Escapement. This is the anchor holding the pallets. This is our escape wheel. The escape wheel is in good shape. Now these are cleaned once. We're going to go over them again and polish and things like that later. But I wanted to see if I can get a close-up of these pallets and what we're going to be looking at. Notice these have the full front, the full diameter on the front of them. Some of those wouldn't be there, but this gives a nice look. This is from an Ansonia. If we look closely here, see if I can get, you see this one right here. See that groove worn in there? So these are steel, hardened steel, pressed in to the anchor. There you can see it. See that groove right there a little bit better. And then this one, where are we here? That one, same thing. Okay, now some of these will have jewels, and they'll break off sometimes, but basically you'll shellac those in. And you can adjust those by reheating the shellac and turning them. And we'll get into adjustments later on, either in this video or in the next one. This might be a couple of part series because this clock needs new pallets, but I also have another clock from a friend of mine that needs a new escape wheel for a Brocot. And we're going to make the cutter to cut the escape wheel. So hopefully I'm smart enough to accomplish that. Now, there's some rules of thumb to go by in looking at these. I'm going to zoom out again here. And you see I got my calculator here and everything. I just want to kind of go through it a little bit on how I double check just to make sure that these hadn't been replaced at one time and they're the wrong size or whatever. So what I want to do is measure the escape wheel diameter. Now this one looks in good shape. The one we're going to be working on later, all the teeth are bent. So anyway, I've got all my notes over here. I've gone through it once already. I have escape wheel diameter of 0.907. So let's just punch that in, 0.907. Now what we're going to do is determine the pallet sizes. There's kind of a rule of thumb called 40-40-10-10. 40% of the distance between each tooth, okay, is going to be your overall thickness on the pallet once it's cut out. Okay, and that's in the cutout area. So if you figure you got one on each side, that ends up to be 80% of the distance between two escape wheel teeth. Okay, let me do this too. So 80% of the distance between two teeth is the approximate diameter of your pallet, full diameter of your pallet. All right, I wanted to jump in here quick with a drawing about what we're talking about on some of these things. I'll toss this in throughout the video. 40-40-10-10. What are we talking about? And if I'm not explaining it right before, then hopefully I'll be able to help you here. I made some pallets. Those look pretty good. It appeared that my eraser was the right size. So we have 2 pallets. These 2 pallets, this is half of one of the diameters of this pallet that's pressed into the anchor. This is the other half. We put them together, that makes a hole. 40/40 is the measurement of one of these halves. Where'd they go? There it is. 40/40 would be 40%, 40%. Now, 40% of what? This measurement from tooth tip to tooth tip, if that were 1, this would be 40% of it. One of these. Okay? This is the other 40%. Okay? And then we're left over with 20%. So basically you can see that 80% of 1.8, if that's the measurement of tooth tip to tooth tip, is the full diameter of one of your pallets that you're going to press into your anchor, steel pallet or jeweled pallet that you'll shellac in. That's the full diameter. You're going to cut that in half at the acting surface area, and that's 40. The other 20%, 10 on each side, so 20% of that is left for what's called drop. 10 and 10 is the leftover portion, which gives you 10% of that measurement on both sides for freedom of motion. Or you might say clearance. We're calling it drop. Now I'm going to just read this right out of a book that I have for what drop means. The free, unrestrained motion of the escape wheel as it leaves one pallet before it drops upon the locking surface of another pallet. The purpose of drop is to give freedom to the locking and unlocking of the pallet and escape wheel teeth. Drop from the entrance pallet is called inside drop, and from the exit pallet it's called outside drop. Okay, so that 10%, and the reason we're going 10%, saying 10%, 40, 40, 10, 10, is, once again, because you have 2, one here, one here, 10% on each side. Part of that is helped out with that little dished out area on the back side of your teeth. And then the way that's cut out. I got 0.907 for an escape wheel diameter. Okay, and I want to find out the circumference, so then I multiply this times pi equals 2.8494245. All right, well, this is the circumference of this wheel in inches, 2.849. Now I have 30 teeth on here, so let me get out here a little bit. So I want to divide that by 30, equals 0.0949808. All right. 0.094. We might just call that 0.095. 95 is the distance from one tooth tip to the next. If I have the pallets, I can measure those as 77.0765 is what I was coming up with. What's going on? Okay. 0.077, 0.0755. So we'll go 0.077. If I take the diameter, or the pin diameter, 0.077, divided by the distance tip to tip, 0.095, equals 81. This gives me a percentage. This gives me a percentage of how much space this pallet, if it was a full diameter, is taken up between the two teeth. It's 81%. Okay? So if we're thinking 40-40, 10-10. Now remember, sorry about that. Remember, our 81% is the full diameter of this. Now let's half that. So divided by 2. Okay, almost 41. Well, 40% plus is how much space that halved pallet is taking up between the escape wheel teeth. Okay, so 40-40, 10-10 is a safe rule to follow when working on these. Anyway, hope I didn't make that super confusing. It gets me confused. Anyway, we know where our diameter of these are correct. And I was assuming that anyway. They look like they're originally set in there. These will get pushed out. We'll take these out. I have a piece of pivot steel here. This is a good steel. I don't know what it is exactly. Blued pivot steel. It's good. It's hardenable. It's already hardened and tempered, but we're going to go through it as is, and then we're going to harden it, and after that, after hardening, polish it, and then we're just going to leave it. We're not going to temper it. So we'll use this. Okay, I've got a plan here, so it'll be a few steps. I'm going to use the vertical mill to mill out those slots. I've got a end mill that's just the right size, and it works good. It's quick. Everything's set up for me over there. So I want to prepare my piece of steel. Now I mentioned this is a little bit bigger than what we want in diameter, but that's going to allow me to polish it a little bit before I harden it, and then we'll polish it again after. We're just going to put a center in this so I can hold it properly in the mill. Just a little tiny center. Run this really slow. A little bit of oil. Okay, that should be enough to hold our piece with the tail stop. Just a little hole there, a little center. Okay, good. Now we'll go over and we're going to punch one of these other old ones out. I like to use the staking set. I use it a lot with clock repair. It's accurate, nice way to punch things or do whatever. Okay, so I've picked a hole that's suitable for these pallets to drop into. And, oops, wrong one. And I've got a small flat punch. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, a little flat punch. So really, simply, carefully punch this out. Now, most likely, this was punched in from that direction. Same direction we're going to punch it out. The ends are all the same size, so I don't think it matters which way I go. This will work fine. Let's see. Little hammer. And tap that out of there. Be careful not to go too hard and fast through that hole. There. There. Okay, a little closer at the actual diameter, or not diameter, come on, the actual opening here, our haft area, reveals it's closer to 0.110. I have a little end mill here, which is .109, so it's it's really close. That's going to be fine. So we'll use this. We'll go set all that up. All right, let's see how this works. I got the camera way across the room, and I'm going to just zoom in here. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we'll set up in the mill. So I've got this all set up here. I can deal with it rather quickly. This will allow me to put 2 flats on here, or half this diameter. And then deal with the sizing of the rest of it later. Okay. So I'll push it over as close as I can get to my 3-jaw chuck. And just set this up. My eye, I want to see that just starting to cut. We'll cut 2 of those. So we'll use real light cuts. Okay. There. Okay. There's our 2 pallets, soon to be. Okay, back in the lathe here. I'll loosen that a little bit. There. A little oil on here. All right, let's cut this. Okay, old versus new so far. Okay, we're gonna get our lengths now. What I want to do is set this up so that the distance I want comes right from the collet. Okay. I get my microphone to stay on there. Now, what I'll do is run this over right up to the collet. Okay. Zero this out. And I got 1.15. Be right there. We'll just work our way into that and face this off. Face it off flat.
Okay, that's our front. And we're going to round that over. The original front was round. And that'll work. Okay. The back side, is the same thing. It's 2.25. So there's one. Now I want to chamfer on the back side. Basically just going to file that to a round. Okay. I don't like magnetizing things, but that gets it out of there. Alright, you can hardly see it, but nice little round end on that. Then I'm gonna, while I'm on this one, I'll leave this out just a little bit. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to run the burnisher over this once. And we'll do that again later. That'll make it nice to start with. Okay, and keep from dropping stuff today. Probably be farther ahead. Okay. Let's see. None of this is going to be part of the action of the escapement. On that very end, anyway. Just for looks. Okay. And we're stuck in there again. Let's see. The demagnetize things here. Okay. Now, burnish this. Okay, Another one. 1, 2. Hopefully they work, right? Okay, be right back.
Clearance. There we go.